Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Willow Talk. I say special because I'm little old Adam Peacock, left here in Australia, but over there in India, and happy to say, India, this country over 1 billion people, as luck would have it, we've got the two other Willow Talk co-hosts side by side. It's a convergence of the cricketing worlds with Brad Haddin and Alyssa Healy next to each other. G'day guys, how are we?
Good.
Well, it's good to see Heels. Didn't you get the memo? Work's paid for this trip.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the shout.
It's beautiful up here too. The nice fresh air. We've got beautiful music being played in the background. The waterfalls. It doesn't look that great for a game though at the moment because it's rained all night. But we missed each other at the bar last night, but I'm sure we'll find a way there tonight.
Hills, how's your Northern India experience been so far? Keeping aside geopolitical problems, which we'll leave that for the front part of the paper.
Yeah, if we exit stage left halfway through the podcast, you'll know why. But it's beautiful up here. I've never been up here before. Obviously flying in on a little tiny plane. We're used to that in Australia, but landing here and seeing it for the first time, it's beautiful. And this hotel, I feel like I'm on holidays finally. So my last couple of days in India, holidays.
So Punjab Kings and also Delhi Capitals in the same hotel. I'm guessing this happens a fair bit in the IPL?
Nope.
Never.
No,
this is rare. So I think with the amount of Aussie contingent in the Punjab 11, I think a few of the boys were keen to actually finally be in the same hotel to catch up, which is nice. But yeah, it's very rare that you're in the same spot.
It's actually dangerous. There's a lot of Aussies here, and you look outside now, and if you play the rain card, it could be a really interesting couple of days. You can, however, tell that there's been some Aussies here for a little bit, because down at the bar last night, when they hand you the beer, they make sure that it's cold enough for you. So I was like, clearly, there's been a few Australians here before us.
Gee, well, I wonder who has set that rule. I wonder, Bradley.
Well, I'll tell you actually who set that rule was Mitch Marsh, because the first day we got here, we just go down in the bar to have a beer and just plan the next couple of days. There was no alcohol. And they were stuck in the fridge, and we didn't think too much of it. Then we walked past Mitch Marsh, he goes, I'm not feeling good. So they cleaned the bar out the day before we got here.
Now, the inaugural, and hopefully this is the first of many, Willow Talk Trophy is almost here, with Delhi playing Punjab just around the corner.
Whoa.
Sorry, Punjab playing Delhi. What?
I'm not worried about the cricket. It's Raiders versus Bulldogs. This is personal.
So for you Willow Talk listeners from around the world, that's a rugby league game that these two alone, or that I mentioned before, India's a country of over 1 billion people. I dare say that they're about the only two people on that continent who will care about what happens in Canberra Saturday afternoon Australian time at 3 p.m, correct?
Oh, I beg to differ. I told everyone could hear me cheering last week in the Melbourne game with the Skippers 200. So, mate, they all know about the Raiders up here now.
Have you taught any of your local players Hads about rugby league and got a conversation starter going with your corduroy Canberra Raiders hat?
Well, we try to play a game of touch football.
Oh wow, yeah.
It's like watching an ant's nest with a ball. So they just couldn't get the concept that you had to pass the ball backwards. And then when you got tapped, you don't throw the ball away. But it was good humour.
Did anyone show anything?
No.
Shreyas is probably too cool to play that game.
Yeah, he was.
You need a little whip it out there.
He was on the wing. He was all right, but the ball didn't make it to the wing.
A lot of turnovers. Not too many completed sets. So Delhi, Punjab though, Heels. What's on the line here? I'm going to organise a trophy actually before you two get back home. We're going to present it on the show when we're back in the studio. Okay.
I've heard all about the trophy. I'm excited for it, but it's actually. Well, it's quite a big game for Delhi, probably less so for you guys. The table's very tight at the top, but a lot of the top teams have got to play one another towards the back end of the season, almost knocking one another out or for jostling for places in that top four. as to where you finish. But it's a big game for Delhi. Where floundering's not the right word, but I've just said it, so there we go. We're kind of not sure where we're currently at. Losing a few games. Sort of, we still need to win 2 of the 3 to make the finals, but all of a sudden I think we need to win 3, knowing that we've got Gujarat, these guys, and Mumbai still to play. So big game, but they're rallying, they're trying really hard, but hopefully they get the right combinations in place to get the job done.
Hads, how are you guys shaped?
I think we're in a similar position. We're only 1 point in front because we had the washout against KKR. But over the last couple of games, it hasn't been great for all the top teams. There's a couple of games where, Hyderabad game got rained out, and that hurt. That definitely hurt us. But yeah, it's about at the moment. You've got to bring your best cricket because it's so congested at the top. This game actually could decide who goes into the final. So there's a bit to play. Weather doesn't look great at the moment, but it clears up pretty quick here. But yeah, both teams will have to bring their A game because it's so tight up the top now.
Also, you mentioned Hyderabad there. The run risers, they're eliminated. So does this put a line through any future mid-tournament sabbatical to the Maldives?
Well, no, the irony is they've played really well since coming back from it. I mean, you look the other night, the rain, let's be honest, the rain saved Delhi. They needed 42 off 5 overs to win that game if they had got back on the field. But they've actually played, and they won that first game coming back, and they've actually played pretty well since it. So maybe there's a cry out for a pre-season trip for teams to the Maldives, the Maldives, however you feel like you want to pronounce it. But it's been an interesting one to follow. I think they've copped a little bit of flack for it, but I mean, they've actually played well since coming back. Yeah,
well, I find it actually really interesting that they went on the trip. Not because I don't agree with it, but the owners said, because we did so well last year, we'll take you to the Maldives. But there's 4 players left from last year. So the remainder of the squad must think, how good's this franchise? So they've locked into the franchise, haven't played at all last year, and they get a trip to the Maldives.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be going there this year, if that's the follow-up for next year. Anyway, we're enjoying the chat so far so much that we forgot to do the preamble as well. Remember to hit us up on social media here at Willow Talk. Search Willow Talk Podcast on TikTok, Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at Listener Sport. Shout out to Herbie, plays cricket on Instagram. He's 2 years old, so the parents run the account. But he listens to the podcast. Fair play to you, Herbie. If you're listening to this when you're 2, fantastic. And there's footage of him playing some beautiful leg side shots on his page, so go check it out. It's Herbie, the 2-year-old cricketer. Gus said, love the podcast, excellent golf chat, but can't believe Alyssa nor Adam nor Mitch, he couldn't hear in the background, didn't recall when Brad got poked in the eye with a high five.
It's funny, I saw that on the rundown and I thought, how did we forget that? But I remember mentioning it. I was like, I remember somebody getting poked in the eye, and then it was him.
Well, let me just put that out there. Say James Faulkner was in India, so it's a nice clean place to poke someone in the eye. If you put James Faulkner on the middle of the MCG with one hole, he would trip over it. It's that sort of person.
I didn't know where you're going with that.
Yeah. And he got overexcited, poked me in the eye. And I thought, I'm okay. Then I sort of lost vision in it for a minute. I remember, the only thing I remember walking off with the physio, and he said, what are you doing? I said, I just kept veering to the left the whole way, but yeah, got infected actually. It wasn't pleasant.
Oh, I'm glad we brought it up. Now, club cricket hats, good news, guys. We've got some more in. Producer Joel has received a couple more. If you want to send them in, we'll wear them on the show. The instructions of where to send them are in the episode notes. But once we're back in the studio, we've got the Wagga RSL Bulldogs hats. I'm not sure if you've ever played against the Wagga RSL Bulldogs in your time down that way, Riverina near ACT.
It's actually this time of the year, and it might even be this weekend. If I'm not at IPL, I'm normally in Wagga at the Wagga Gold Cup. So I've actually met
last weekend
those guys at the Calcutta before the race.
The Farah.
Yep.
Yeah, so thanks to the Wagga RSL Bulldogs, we'll have those hats on shortly, and the Comets from the Shire in Sydney as well. We've got some hats thrown our way. Now, to some IPL chat, Hads last week, Hills answered the question, if you could have any IPL player in the Australian side who isn't Australian, she went with KL Rahul. You weren't overly in line with that answer, I'm led to believe?
Nope.
So who would you have?
Players.
Yeah.
I think our batting's going all right. I like our fast bowling. I would take a bit of a mystery. I'd take at the moment Noor Ahmed.
Okay.
Partner Nathan
Why?
Lyon. I like the mystery spin.
Yep.
Who are you leaving out then?
No, I'm
I
not.
did think Nathan Lyon was a friend of the show.
So hang on, he's just had a crack at me about replacing someone,
I'd
but
have
then
to
he won't replace anyone.
I'd have to leave the batter out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd go for Noor Ahmed or Rashid Khan.
Okay.
So he's not gone with any Indian player. He's just gone. I know the question was IPL, and that's fair play, but he hasn't gone with an Indian player.
Oh, Indian player. I imagine having Bumrah four-prong pace attack.
Yeah. Once again, shout out to Nathan Lyon. Apologies.
Nathan Lyon's still in. I'm going about it short. They're not scoring many runs.
Yeah, true. They're scoring 150 tops, aren't they? With that lot. So you wouldn't take one of your two up-and-coming openers that you got there at the IPL, Hads, who you've been very impressed by?
I tell you what, the game would move forward quick, Adam. The game would move forward very, very quick. No, I'd like to keep them here. They're settled at the moment. I'm happy with them. I told you about these two at the start of the tournament. And it's interesting with the younger players. If you create an environment where they feel like they can express themselves and they can do anything. So some of these Indian cricketers are as talented as anyone in the world, anyone you've ever come across in your state system. It's just about making sure that they feel comfortable in their environment, that they feel a part of what you're trying to do. And our group at the moment is brought into everything we spoke about. So, yeah, just keep watching. There's a few more we've got on the bench if an injury happens, but the two at the top at the moment are just so exciting.
Just before we get into some fun stuff, for both of you, Heels, you've seen it up close with Delhi, and Hads, you're involved in the coaching staff with Punjab. So, Heels, you first, about how difficult it is for the coaches and the assistants and the management to pick an 11, because you do have a pretty big squad over there. You've got some big players who are missing out from time to time. You've got some really ambitious young Indian players wanting to play, but how they manage that situation and navigate it.
Well, yeah, I guess it's all about balance, and that's probably where a lot of trust in your other support staff come into play a little bit. Ricky's probably lucky that he's got Hads and he's got some guys around him that know what they're doing, and that you got to trust that these guys know what they're talking about, and the players that you're going to pick are going to be able to do the job. But I feel like the balance is hard, like managing the international players in and around what you've got. From an Indian standpoint, I think is really important, and finding that balance has been really tricky. I think for a lot of teams, some teams rely really heavily on their international players, whereas I think some teams do really well out of their local Indian talent. So I guess that comes down to your planning at the auction and how you're going to set up your side, and then knowing coming into the competition that this is the combinations that you've got, and these are what you can use if shit does hit the fan, or if you're going really well, these are the players that can come in and can complement that. So yeah, it's a tricky one and not easy, because like Had said, there's some real talent around the competition that are just sitting on the bench waiting for a go, and you put them out there, they do really well, and then managing that expectation for the rest of the tournament or the next season, whatever it might be, is going to be really tricky. So it's good fun politics to watch.
Yeah, I think the first thing, you've got to create an environment where you've got a team first environment, and that's the one thing your coaching staff have to work really hard on in the first time you get together with your messaging, because it's not only the local Indian players, but it can be overseas players as well. They're used to having a really set role in their international cricket, but you can only play four, and a lot of that comes down to matchups. Conditions. Sometimes you go into games, you only use 3 overseas players. You might have conditions that suit the Indian players a lot more than the internationals. Other times you like to have, on different surfaces, 6 internationals because it suits. But with the young kids, I think that's the really exciting thing for those guys in the squad. Our kids that aren't playing are so motivated to get better. Our biggest thing is finding ways to hold them back, because they're all like sponges. They love the game. They want to be part of the IPL, but it's about making sure you stimulate them every time they come to train, and that doesn't mean always hitting balls for hours, bowling for a long time. It might be doing different stuff athletically to improve them. And at this stage of the tournament, they're starting to see the benefits of the stuff that you spoke about at the start and you're doing now. They're all ready to go, and they're all talented. And you're seeing that a bit in teams like Chennai now, who are starting to play their kids because they're out of the tournament, how talented they are. But I'll give credit to our guys that they've worked hard the whole way through, but they've worked smart. They've worked on getting better, which has been really pleasing for us.
Can I just raised that he's coaching twice, so on his podcast already. So.
Ricky.
Yeah?
Mate, Ricky and Haddin.
Good cop, bad cop. Who's good cop there, Hads?
Mate, Hopes and I are always a good cops. Assistant coaches are always the good cops. We're lucky. We've got some good Indian coaches as well. But we're really clear on at the start on what we wanted from the team and what we stood for, and I think that's important. So you give the players a real clear clarity on what it means to be part of a group. Like, yes, you might win with the 12 players out there, but from the guy that organises the transport to your management, everyone's the same in the group, so they all feel a part of it, which is exciting.
Can you imagine coming into this environment and you've just watched Ricky Ponting play your whole life, and seen his aura and you know who he was as a captain, and you've seen him as a coach as well, and you go to walk up to him and then you're like, go straight to Brad Haddin because his hands swallow it away, laughing and telling a joke or doing something to the side. So you're going to go to the good cop over here. Not saying that he's a bad cop, but I think it's just maybe his aura around the game that naturally you'd go that way.
And you go up to Hads and you look at his hat and you go, who the Canberra Raiders has? It's a real conversation starter.
It's actually at the point in the tour, and they're saying, I can't wait till the Raiders knock off the Bulldogs and get number one.
Yeah. As they would. It's the talk of India. Yeah. So, here's one for you both. Don't have to go into great depth, but just give us a little anecdote to back it up. Who's the best value in each camp that you've seen so far? Heels? Delhi?
Alyssa, Healy. Oh, no, wait. No, I think I've really enjoyed getting to know some of the South Africans. They've been good fun. Donovan Pereira is in the squad, and he seems like a right laugh. So that sounds very English, but he seems like he's been good fun. But I've actually really enjoyed Kuldeep Yadav, his personality as well. He's been really enjoyable. Like, we only really mingle on travel days a bit when I'm around, but he seems like real good fun.
Mushi Khan. He hasn't played a game yet. He's 19. He's Sarfraz is Khan's younger brother. He's a middle order bat and he keeps our group high in energy. He hasn't played, but he's got a connection with the superstars of the game, the guys that just the squad. He's just that one guy that if you got something on after game, that they're all waiting for how he's going to walk in and his outfits he's going to walk in. I think he's sponsored by Puma, but he likes to wear outfits that totally match. Like, I go, mate, he looks like Hugh Hefner or something like that when he walks into. But he keeps our group high in humour, but he's a good barometer where it's at. If he comes in and he's a bit flat, you think, oh, we better get around and see what's going on. But yeah, he's good. Sounds like a wicketkeeper, Adam. I tell you what, he played Australia beat India in the under-19s World Cup. It was Sam's our young Sam Constance's a year, and I said, mate, you lost. He said, no, I got out. And I said, what do you mean? He said, no, I got out. I said, no, you lost the Aussies in the final. He said, no, only because I got out. So there's a little taste of him.
Have you got any did that really happen stories from your travels? I know you're a bit confined. It's not as if you can just put the bags in the hotel room and then walk around for 2 days and take in the sights. You're there for cricket, and there's a lot of attention on the squads. And this can't go to seeing a peacock on a golf course. It's not about that. Has there been any experiences inside stadiums that you've just been blown away by?
I was going to say, maybe ask me again in a couple of days' time and we might give you a different story. But
when you're giving it to Hads after Delhi wins.
Yeah. No, I think it's all been very what I expected. I would put it that way. But I don't really have a can't believe that story. Although we did go to the wrong mall in Delhi. I may have stitched Mitch up a little bit accidentally. He said, "Is this the mall that you were talking about?" Because I remember a really good one where we stayed and it had a supermarket and a really nice cafe. And Mitch just said, "Is this the one?" And I was in a rush to get the shower, get changed and get out of there. And I said, yeah, that's the one. Anyway, we were sitting in the Uber on the way there. We got there and we did a loop of the downstairs and I said, "This isn't it." And then, so anyway, lo and behold, as soon as you stop in a mall in India to like look at maybe what's in there or what's going to happen, people start to encroach, knowing that there's a 6'5" fast bowler just standing there in the mall. So we spent the next 45 minutes to an hour trying to escape the mall, escape the people, and lo and behold, there we are waiting for an Uber, which took an extra 20 minutes to get there. So we were surrounded by security, surrounded by people. That was our last experience of getting out for that day. We didn't get another Uber go anywhere for the rest of the day. We got back to the hotel and went, well, that was good. We didn't get a coffee, we didn't get lunch, we didn't get anything. So that was, but that was just just one of those moments where you go,
surreal.
Only in India, yeah.
Yeah. Did he have his Willow Talk t-shirt on?
I reckon he was in his hat. He was in one of them, the hat or the
on your Mitch.
I had a funny one with when the family was here. So the boys ordered breakfast, and they said, "I'll have 4 poached eggs." And then Zach goes, "I'll have 4 poached eggs as well." And the bloke goes, 4. And they said, "Yep, 4. But what it was, they interpreted different. They interpreted it as 4 servings. So they got 2, 4, 6, 8. There was 4 servings of 2 eggs for Hugo and 4 servings of 2 eggs. So we had like 16 eggs sitting on the table. The boys going, what? I said, I hope you're hungry. It's just how, and that was their first time. So next time they're trying to order breakfast, they've got their fingers up. I'll have 2, like just 2, trying to explain. So you have those little communication things. The other one, I went out for coffee, went on a tut-tut with our analyst, and we had Uber maps on. Get in there, and I'm going, mate, we're going a long way off the beaten track. And I said, it must be my phone. All of a sudden, we're stopped where all the tut-tut drivers were.
What happened?
And we said, well, mate, what are you doing? He said, photo. So we had 40 minutes with every tut-tut driver in Lucknow. They were just coming from everywhere. So I said, we've got to get we're going to get a coffee. He goes, yes, sir.
Photo.
No. Yeah. It's like, it's just a different world over here. And like, you probably don't appreciate it until you see it, like just how big of a deal the cricketers are over here. And it's like, and the people here are lovely and they're so hospitable and want to do everything for you, which for us as Aussies, we're so used to doing everything for ourselves that it's quite uncomfortable at times, but you can't fault anyone's hospitality, that's for sure. And
the good news is the hospitality is extended to the Delhi Capital social media team. They're collaborating with Willow Talk on social media. Heels. Fantastic work.
That's what happens when you give our big player a rap, right? They jump on board, whereas Hads just continues to rap other players from other teams, so their team, Punjab, don't want a bar of it.
I'll give you more information at the end of the tournament.
Okay, fair enough. Hads, Mitch Owen been called in, Glenn Maxwell ruled out. Firstly, how is Maxi, and is Mitch there yet, or is he still in Pakistan playing the PSL?
No, Maxi had a pretty severe broken finger, actually. I was a bit different actually when they ruled him out. I said just jab a needle in it, you'll be right. But I think it was a bit worse than we first thought. I think it took the tendon. The bone started to take the tendon with it. So yeah, it's disappointing that he had to leave, but it also creates opportunity. And leading into the last few rounds, Mitch Owen's what we're looking for. It was hard to get players, actually high quality players, because the PSL's going on, the Pakistan League. So it's hard to find any high quality players, but Mitch is going to be finished that tournament at the right time so he can come here. And to have someone, what we wanted on the bench, we had an opportunity to replace Lockie Ferguson over a month ago, but we haven't. We've kept with the squad we have, and we've just waited to see what we need at this stage of the tournament. So we wanted someone to come in that could win you a game. That was as simple as that could make a difference. We wanted a point of difference in not just replacing someone like, okay, we've lost Maxwell, we need an off spinner that bats a bit. We wanted someone to come into the squad that was different and that could win us a game, and that's why we got Mitch Owen.
How was it beating Justin Langer the other night?
I didn't really think of it, actually. So we've seen JL briefly after the game. It's obviously it's good to get one up on your counterparts, but I didn't really think about it at the time. It was a huge game for us. We didn't focus. We did our obviously planning around. Our captain actually come up with a really good one. He's been outstanding. The skipper the whole tournament, and we know the wicket here has a bit of bounce in it. And he said, well, let's get Josh Inglis up there. He'll be suited to this bounce. We haven't had him in that position for the whole tournament, and see if we can get a bit of a jump on Lucknow in the power play. And Josh came out and went 3 sixes in a row of his first 4 balls and gave us momentum in our innings. So, yeah, it was a good night.
Either that or he's gone, this guy's bowling gas, so Ingo, your turn.
I would have been thinking that.
Hey, Jake Fraser-McGurk, how's he going? Heels? Hasn't really set it on fire like he did last year, unfortunately for him, but still a young... We keep on saying this about him, and people probably are sick of hearing it, but young player, still developing. How's this been for him?
Well, he's actually a really important player in the squad at the moment because, like Hads just mentioned, like replacing players, Delhi have yet to replace Harry Brook from the beginning of the tournament. So when you look at the guys that are actually sitting on the bench, Jake Fraser-McGurk is still in the frame to be playing. So mentally, like, he's still in a great place. We were caught up last night where he's ready to go. He's ready for another opportunity to get out there and show what he could do and participate. And he has been the whole time. But yeah, obviously a big learning curve for him as to finding some sort of consistency in his game moving forward if he wants to do this for a living. And obviously he's got grand plans of representing Australia more and more. But this is probably that first little test for him to go, these are some areas you need to work on, and this is what you need to do. So, but like I said, he's been really good around the group and ready for an opportunity, and I feel like he's still got more to give in this tournament, which is good.
We're planning for him.
Yeah. This wicket will suit him more than a few of the others that we've played. There's been a few sort of stoppy wickets, and some of his dismissals earlier just sort of, I think, are more of a learning curve for him on some slower wickets. But this sort of wicket up here, the ball does fly a lot more. It could suit him.
100% we're planning for him. It's at this stage of the tournament, it's when you got someone like that on the bench, and this is only looking from outside in, when you need to win a game, a player like Jake goes off, you actually a long way to winning the game. The ball travels a lot further here. You're at altitude, so the ball absolutely flies off the bat. The wicket will suit a player like Jake with the extra bounce. It's not as much movement down. It's more pace. So we're planning on someone like Jake playing this game.
Fair enough. Hads, what about Chahal? What's he been like?
He's outstanding. He's a bit like Mushy. He's the energy. He's a bit of a joker. He's been around a while. He does enough at training. When he's got the ball in his hand, mate, he's world class. But when he hasn't, he's good fun.
He's a pest.
Yeah, he's someone that you want in your group. He's light-hearted. He's good. And he started the tournament pretty slow. He had a lot going on off the field. And once that's got sorted, he's sort of built into the tournament. But the one thing about those sort of players is you want them peaking at the right time. And that's exactly what he's doing now. The business end, when we play the bigger teams, he's been world-class and showed his skill.
I'd love to know the Hindi translation of pest. Like, it'd be good to know those things from various parts around the world, but that probably doesn't translate totally to an Indian audience. But yeah,
I think it does.
Pest is pretty clear in English.
We'll get that word for you.
Yeah,
I know exactly. A version of it, but I don't think it means pest.
You can use it for your kids.
Yeah. I need all the ammo I can get because I've used the ones I've had for about 10 years. So, yeah, give us something fresh. It'll be good to hit them with. Last one. Who makes the finals here?
You know what? I think tomorrow, when we're recording now, tomorrow night's game will dictate it. I think if Delhi get the win, I think Delhi will make the 4. But I think if Delhi lose, we're in strife. And I think that will determine the 4, but I still think it'll be RCB, Punjab, Gujarat, and then the 4th will come down to Mumbai and Delhi. I think that's my opinion. All those teams have got to play one another in this next little bit, so it'll probably jostle it around a little bit. KK are kind of hanging on there, but I think it's out of those 5 teams at the moment.
Well, I know our next 2 games are Delhi and Mumbai, and so in the next, we'll find out. It's
Stark and Bumrah. Good luck.
Yeah, it's interesting
Ball
because
flies here, Adam. Remember, the bowlers are worried about that.
Yeah, you can get a lead like an edge off a drive. You hear catch. Oh shit! It goes in the second row. The ball absolutely flies. Our next couple of games will decide whether we make where we finish in the 4. Everyone wants that top 2 spot. That gives you the second opportunity at the finals, but I like this time of the tournament. This time of the tournament, yes, you have your nets and everything like that, but you've got all your players in a really good headspace. They've done all the training, they've done all the skill. Now it's about just seeing who your gamers are, seeing who responds under pressure, who wants to get out there and can take all the finals talk and all that away. And for us, we haven't made the finals in 10 years. So we've got to keep all that away and get ready for Delhi. And then once Delhi plays, you've got to get ready for Mumbai. The coaching staff can think more about different things with matchups and the games leading in front of that. But it's about making sure they're ready for this game. And as I said, see who the gamers are. See who the guys that want to get into the game, and we've got a couple of our middle order that they are dying to get out there in any situation, and it's hard sometimes. You go left, right, you change it, but they're willing to do what the team needs to do, but they want to get out and make a difference, which is great. Yeah,
well, let's see if you can pass on. If Mitch could do what he nearly did, I think it was against RCB, but if he could actually accomplish it, and he's a fair chance of doing it. Like if a bouncer just misses the mark but goes through, but actually goes for 6, out of his hand, that'd be impressed. I'd be really impressed.
Yeah, I think this is the place to do it, but let's see if he makes contact with the helmet instead. But yep, carry on.
Marco could do that also.
Oh yeah, good. Marco, yeah, of course. Quick drinks break here on Willow Talk. We've got myself, Adam Peacock, back here in Australia. We've got the 2 over there in Punjab ahead of the Willow Talk Trophy. We've got the beautiful Cobra charming music in the background, and maybe a Cobra's in the corner there, and we'll be back in a moment with these 2. Welcome back to Willow Talk. Had's just telling us in the break that some of the Punjab players went up to meet the Dalai Lama. Did anyone take a Willow Talk hat by any chance?
No. I messaged him and see if he wanted one. I saw him met him last year.
Fair enough.
I tell you what, he was one of those. We had the opportunity to go again, but it was one of those experiences you're happy just to do once. I reckon it was an interesting time last year because when you walked in, it was like the aura around everything. You were just like, whoa! But it was quite emotional actually for some of the Indian staff. And players who got the opportunity to go, like watching their reaction was all part of the theatre of meeting the Dalai Lama as well. So, yeah, some of the guys went yesterday. They were stoked. They were over the moon that they got the opportunity, but I was lucky enough to do it yesterday.
So, last year. Where is he? Is he like just around the corner there, is he? Or?
Yep, 5Ks away.
5Ks?
Yep.
Fair dinkum. I didn't know he was there. Oh, well. Shout out to the Dalai Lama if you're listening to Willow Talk, and it's great to have your company once again. Australians in the IPL so far. So it's down here in the rundown of give us a rating out of 10. I'm going to be nicer. I'm going to say, Hads, you be across this, and Heels, this is in your future, reading a school report, and these days school reports are very nice how they word things. If your kid's hopeless, they put improvement necessary. They don't say give up or leave school. It's like improvement necessary, or meeting standards or exceeding expectations, those kind of things. So give us I'll run through some names just briefly. Australians over there, for those listeners who are not up to date day to day with the IPL. Pat Cummins, how's he going?
Pass as performance.
Yeah.
But he hasn't brought his team together like he did last year.
Ooh, okay. Fair enough. Travis Head, you can go 1 for 1 here.
Improvement. Needed.
Yeah. Hads, Josh Hazelwood.
Oh.
Josh Hazelwood.
No, I'm saving one for you, Heels.
He's been the form. He's been outstanding.
A+.
Yeah.
Mitchell Stark, Heels. Know him?
Yeah, B. I think good on occasion. These next 3 games are going to be key, though. So okay. I reckon it's B with improvement.
No, I think that's just the wife talking. He's been good. What I've watched, they always give, and it's the same with Hazelwood and Camo as well. They throw on the ball in the big moments, and a lot of time they've come up in front, and Mitch has done that. It'll definitely be something that we talk about in our meeting when the game's on the line. Guys like Mitch will come in, and this is what he looks to do in those situations. So I think he's been a bit better than a B. Talks too much in class, but he's been good.
Stoyne, the big Stoynus, the big Adonis. Hads, how's he going for you? Is it in and out of the team? But
yeah, he's had a bit of a disruption, actually. He's been in and out. He's done some good things, and he's just looking for some consistency now. And I think what I'm hoping with Stoyne is the back end of the tournament is when he really starts to play a role. But it's interesting, like, he's playing a different role for us. Like a game against Hyderabad, he came out in the last over and hit 4 sixes. So you've got to look at the role that they play in the team. It mightn't be big numbers, but they're winning big moments. So yeah, Stoyne's passed at the moment with us.
Yeah. Adam Zampa obviously didn't really play a part. Jake Fraser we've talked about. Consistent. Yeah, unfortunately hasn't been there.
He comes over and he goes home every IPL. So he's very consistent.
Jake Fraser, Glenn Maxwell we've already talked about. Mitch Marsh, guys. Heels?
Outstanding.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows his role. His role clarity is very clear. Bat. Sit on the bench. I mean, what a role.
Babysit.
Yeah. He's been a standout. I mean, that little mini top order, they lost their way a little bit, but he's been good. Good to watch.
I would like to see Mitch's. I find this not fielding and batting. I reckon we joke about how good is this. You just go out and whack them around, and if you're batting first, it's good. But if you're not, and you're sitting down and trying to get into the game,
it's different.
I'm not sure it's the best prep. I would find that hard. And I know against us, Mitch has got 2 ducks. And both times they're batted second. So it's an interesting one because, mate, he's played some unbelievable knocks. But I just reckon not being in the game all the time's affected him a little bit.
Tim David.
A+.
Yeah.
Been very good.
Spencer Johnson.
haven't seen a lot of him.
Yeah, he's got a letter to his mum and dad. He's been absent a lot. We haven't seen him.
His partial days absent has gone over the threshold, so he's going to have a meeting.
Yeah. Please explain the letter.
Josh Inglis, you've mentioned had, so we'll go to Nathan Ellis.
Also hasn't been seen a lot, has he? Hasn't really been given the opportunity that maybe they need. So, interesting one.
See, I'd recommend Nathan Ellis change schools. Because I think he actually could be a superstar of this tournament. But he's found himself in teams that we had a Rabada. They've got some really good opening bowlers at Chennai. But to me, Nathan Ellis could be in a team, whether a Mumbai or KKR, that would be the first picked. And he's, I think, and I'm biased because I've worked with him, and he's a great person, someone you want around, but he's actually a superstar of this form of the game. He just hasn't found the right team.
Fair enough. Finally, two guys with you, Hads. Aaron Hardy hasn't got a huge crack, and Xavier Bartlett, who's been used as well.
Hardy, A+. And the reason I say that, he's come over here with an open mind to learn. This is the first time he's been in the IPL. Mate, he's done everything asked of him from a team point of view. He's great around the group, and he hasn't played yet. He hasn't had the opportunity to play. You turn up to the IPL with full of energy, want to make your mark, but he's turned up with an open mind to learn. So he's been outstanding.
Brilliant. Guys, to other news, so the Kagiso Rabada story has hit the headlines down here as well. I'm sure it has over there. The fact that he had to go away from the IPL, tested positive to a recreational substance back at the South African T20, South Australia everywhere, of course, out of the Australian summer. The SA T20 tournament. Now, he's apparently going to go back to the IPL and continue. Nothing to see here. I don't know how much you can say, Hads, because you're involved in the tournament, but Heels, I don't know if you've got an opinion, but also how big a story it's been over there.
Yeah, it's probably, I don't know, like we're on the grind here, so you kind of, all the news and stuff like just gets folded into one, so you kind of see it and you acknowledge it and then you move on. But
yep.
I feel like more will be made of this maybe leading into the World Test Championship final. Like there might be a bit more chatter around it and what it looks like. But I mean, my opinion on it is that each country, each organisation has their own standards in place about recreational drug use, and I guess it's an interesting one that it has been made public, because that doesn't often occur in Australia unless you've had multiple strikes or multiple opportunities to get yourself right in that regard. So the fact that it's been publicised, to me, is quite an interesting one, and screams maybe there might be more to this that comes out of it. But I mean, then they've gone play on, off you go. So I'm not too sure. It's a hard one to really comment on without being as close as what I've seen it. But it's interesting. It screams a little bit more to me.
I'll wait till I get home. When I'm not on staff. But what I will say is I've always been a big fan of Tim Payne.
Right.
He had some comment yesterday.
Yep, what he said. Righto. Fair enough. Other news, South Africa have announced they'll be playing Zimbabwe in a test match in the lead up to the World Test Championship final in Sussex. They should have played it in Fulham to get a big home crowd. It's on June the 3rd. Were you a little worried that we're not playing a game, or are you completely cool with it?
Nah.
I think we have this conversation every tour.
Yeah.
It's changed. Australia will be well prepared. I seen some footage actually in the last couple of days of I think Lyon, Marnus and majority of the guys up in Brisbane getting some quality work, but I would never worry about our preparation. The modern game's changed a lot with how intense training can be. They'll have some centre wickets where bat versus ball is just as intense, or if not more than a test match. So I'm not worried about that. They'll have some sort of mock game that they need to, but have a look now. Our guys getting a lot of work.
Yeah, I think the priority for that group will be getting back together, and that involves a little bit of team bonding, maybe some golf, maybe some opportunities to reconnect, because they've all been on opposite sides of the globe playing cricket, playing red ball cricket, playing white ball cricket, having a break, whatever it might be. So getting them back together is probably going to take priority or take precedence over maybe a warm-up fixture.
I think the hardest thing is to get the 11.
Yeah, well, we'll discuss that over the next month in a bit. Absolutely. Yep. And how they crystallise 14 into 11. That will be the interesting question for the selectors. Marcus Harris, he's probably not in that 14 on the radar to be in that 11, but far out, guys. He can score a run in England, can't he? Another ton in the last week.
Yeah, I mean, the word roughie's been used there. I think he's more than a roughie to play at the moment. I mean, I feel like leading into every single Ashes series away, we're always talking about who the batters are going to be, and if you put yourself in the position to go over there to the UK, play county cricket and make runs, you're always going to put your hand up, and that's all you can really do to put your name in front of the selectors to go to scream pick me. And if he's going to continue to be over there making runs while guys are either not playing cricket or playing white ball cricket, he's a real chance of opening the batting for Australia in that Test Championship final, which, I mean, why not? If you can't really pick on form for that game. You're going to pick basically a pretty similar 11 to what got you to the final. But if there's a guy in form knocking down the door, why not?
I think he's no chance.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Disagree. Well, okay, he's batting at number 4 now. So he's in competition with Steve Smith. We've seen in the past that if you want to open for Australia, you go and bat in the middle order. Usman did it. He got picked to open. But I'm a Marcus Harris fan. I think we would have liked to see him do a little bit better at Test cricket. But there's no spot for him. There's no spot for him in the team. He's been batting at number 4. He's not opening over there. So that's totally different. We like that they're in form. If you've got the luxury, someone rolls their ankle the day before, and you can call him into the squad, and he could play. He's in form, but I don't think he'll come in. You've got Green coming in. You've got Inglis, got 100 in his first Test match. Sam comes back in. Do they open with Marnus to put Green in? I see an interesting thing just before the IPL, where Marnus this time said, "I'm happy to open." So is that something that's going to happen to fit Cameron Green back in?
Everybody loves to say that they're happy to open until they do it and realise it's not much fun.
No, just ask Nathan McSweeney after facing Bumrah in his first Test. Yeah, shitload of fun. Unreal. Just before we let you go, guys, the World Test rankings are out as well for the men's, the ICC. England have jumped to number 2. Ahead of their series against India. So the order is Australia, England, South Africa, India, New Zealand, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, West Indies, Bangers and Zimbabwe. The one-day rankings, India 1, no surprise, New Zealand 2, Australia 3, T20, India, Australia, England. I'll just say about those World Test rankings, why? Like, have they been driving along the roadside there in Dharamshala and just picking up some local weeds, if you know what I mean? And putting them in a little bit of paper and rolling them and lighting them? Because why would you have rankings that go against everything that's gone on for the last 2 years that has South Africa and Australia playing a World Test Championship final? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think they are sort of irrelevant in that space when you think about it. But I think when you look at the points table, England have played the most amount of Test cricket. So I guess from a rankings perspective, they're probably going to be up there because they've played a lot and they've had a lot of wins and draws. I know they haven't had a lot of draws. I don't know. They don't like drawing. So it's an interesting one. But then it brings back the whole discussion about the World Test Championship and how that's ranked and scored and points table and stuff as well. So I don't know. Don't ask me. Cricket's too hard.
What I had a good look at that actually, and moral victories must give you points. So that's the only thing I could see.
Oh dear, that spatula of stirring is still very much in your pool. Well done. I don't know if you two are going to converse at all in the next 36 hours before this match, and hopefully it takes place. But all the best in the Willow Talk Trophy, the time-honoured, first ever. Hopefully there's another one. But there will be a trophy awaiting the winner. And I will say, the tiebreaker, if it's a no result because of rain, the tiebreaker then extends to Canberra and the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs on Saturday afternoon, NRL Rugby League. Okay?
Yeah, we're on.
Okay. But if the cricket has a result, that Rugby League is irrelevant. It's about cricket here on Willow Talk, okay? It's not a best of two.
I just see 2 beers in my future, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
I'll shut the bar if we lose.
Oh, wonderful.
Heels
what a guy. Hads, we'll see you when Punjab is knocked out, but we'll see you online before then, hopefully. Thank you for your time.
Mate, I've missed you. I find it hard not having the constant personal reaction, personal touch with you.
Yeah, the term you're looking for is the constant shit talk, basically. That's what you're missing. So, yeah. And Heels, we'll see you soon because you're heading back here very shortly, I think, back to Australia.
Maybe.
Very soon.
She might be here for a while.
Yeah, we'll wait and see how the political affairs pan out.
We'll leave that for the experts. Thanks for your time on Willow Talk, you two. Thank you for your time, listeners. We'll catch you soon.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, thanks for watching the Willow Talk podcast on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't have to miss an episode wherever you are. And while you're at it, check out these videos up here. They're mostly good.